proposed bond.
She's a wild one, hot full of fire. Anti-Scientology, a voice in the choir. She's got a crazy love that's built to last. With her rebel wife, they're fighting back fast. In Salt Lake City, they're taking a stand. Power and love, hand in hand. Fighting for the kids, raising their voice. Say no more abuse, let's make the choice. Love is love, no matter what they say. In this battle, they'll find a way.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion passes unanimously. Now we're moving to the adjournment. And this concludes the meeting. I will look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, move to adjourn as a local building authority and convene as a Salt Lake City Community Reinvestment Agency Board.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Dugan and a second by Councilmember Young. Thank you for helping me decide which one was that. Any discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries unanimously. Now we're going to convene as the Salt Lake City Community Reinvestment Agency. The item D1 is a resolution for the budget of the Community Reinvestment Agency of Salt Lake City for the year 2025-2026. The same rules apply as far as behaving in this meeting. Before we begin taking comments, I will turn the time to, again, our Executive Director, Jennifer Bruno, to give us a short introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This next hearing pertains to the fiscal year 26 budget of the Community Reinvestment Agency of Salt Lake City, or CRA. If there are comments about the proposed city or library budget, those comments should be presented to the council in an item later tonight. This CRA budget was discussed in a work session earlier in May, and recordings of that discussion in a staff report can be found on the council's budget website, which is tinyurl.com/SLCFY26.
Taylor, please start with the first public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do not have anyone registered to speak to this item.
There's no one here registered to speak for the CRA public budget for the next upcoming year. I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board close the public hearing and refer the item to... Yes, and refer the item.
I have a motion by Councilmember Lucas Chavez and a second by Councilmember Wharton. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It seems like it was unanimous. We're going to be moving on to item E, which is the adjournment, and I need a motion.
Mr. Chair, the meeting adjourned as the Community Reinvestment Agency Board.
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn by Councilmember Mano and a second by Councilmember Lopez Chavez. Any discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries unanimously. Now we're convening with the third hat for today as the Salt Lake City Council. And now we are reminding all of you that the public comment registration process to make sure that you know how to share your thoughts. We will accept sign-ups until 7:30 p.m. General comment section is limited to a maximum of 1 hour and will only include commenters who are registered before 7:30 p.m. So if you're here to give general comment, please sign up and remember that it is possible not everyone who signs up may be able to speak. This brings us to item F2, approving the work session minutes for February 4, 2025. I'm looking for a motion.
Move for approval.
I have a motion by Councilmember Petro and a second by Councilmember Wharton. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it seems like this motion passes unanimously. Now we're going to go to the public hearing section of the agenda. These are specific proposals before the council that require a public hearing. Your comments should pertain to the hearing item. And if you go off topic, we will ask you to stop your comment. Our meeting rules apply to hearing comments as well. Please avoid disruptions or threats. We will ask a staff member to assist you out of the meeting, if so. Also, as a reminder, comments that include profanity, personal attacks, intimidation, or discriminatory language are not persuasive or compelling to this council. These are not helpful in creating a respectful and safe environment. To sign up to comment of any of the hearing items, please register online or turn in a comment card to the in-person staff, usually by the door. We accept sign-ups until the hearing item is closed. We will be calling the names in the order they have signed up. If you are on Zoom, please unmute your microphone when your name is called. Each person will have 2 minutes. Please raise your hand in the room or in Zoom for staff assistance. If you are having technical issues in Zoom, a staff member, Daphne Butchert, can assist you. If you reach the 2-minute mark, the host will announce time and your microphone will be muted. If you are unable to finish your comment, please share the rest of your comment via email. You can also send us mail, or you can call our office number. Contact information is listed at slccouncil.com. If you have a handout for the council, please notify council staff who will assist you. Okay, I want to move on to the public hearings, item G1. And this is the ordinance for fiscal year 2025-2026 city budget, excluding the budget for the library fund. And this is all the...
Mr. Chair, I can do a brief introduction if that would be helpful.
Yes, please.
Okay. This public hearing will actually reference ordinances G1 through G15, as all of those ordinances and resolutions are needed to accomplish the budget. The council considers all of these ordinances relating to the fiscal year budget in one public hearing, as they're needed collectively to implement the mayor's recommendation. Tonight's public hearing will address, as I said, ordinances G1 through G15. The various ordinances set property tax rates and budget levels, address fees and compensation, among other items. For the public's information, and those that may not be aware, departments are discussed in detail at each of the council's public work sessions through May and June, which typically start at 1 p.m. Recording of those discussions are available online on the council's website, as are staff reports of each department. More information can be found at the council's website at tinyurl.com/SLCFY26. Thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer, for sitting me there. There's a white page in my document, and so we have items G1 through G15 right now for public comment. Taylor, please start with our first comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have about 8 people registered to speak to these items. The first will be Evan Sugden, followed by Esther Hunter, and then Matthew Morris. Evan is here in person.
Good evening. To set a context, in the last round, I submitted a capital improvement program grant proposal number 481244, which pertained to the establishment of high-end bicycle parking facilities at the downtown public library and at the Milk Block along the 9 Line. My proposal was not funded, but I would still like to thank the city for considering it. I'd like to make the following points. There remains a high demand for bike parking in the Milk Block especially, and I will consider only the Milk Block this evening. The 2 existing bike racks are inadequate. New businesses at the Milk Block will be opening as soon as this month. And the central design idea of my CIP proposal is still applicable. So I'd like to make very briefly a couple of asks. First of all, I'd like to ask that the council express to the Transportation Division the need to enhance existing plans to address the urgent need for more bike racks in the block. That the actions taken should be expedited, possibly even at the end of June. To accept a simple proposal for bike rack number and placement that reflects my original CIP proposed design concept, except using standard rack as currently used by transportation. That the installation allow for future development of a full spa should funds become available in the future. And that I be allowed to advise through the transportation division and my contacts there. And as a potential liaison with the low block property owner with whom I have good communications. Secondly, that funds be set aside, a minimal amount of funds to cover any possible cost overruns by transportation in following this plan, which consists primarily of repositioning 2 existing bicycle racks and adding 4 more. Given that the city has an active interest in promoting bicycling, this proposal is a way to pick up the CIP grant.
Thank you. For those commenting, they haven't finished their comment, please share the rest of your comment like via email or phone call or via mail. Thank you.
So next will be Esther Hunter, followed by Matthew Morris, and then Hildy Kupum. Esther's here in person.
Hi, I'm Esther Hunter. I'm representing East Central tonight. Thank you, first of all, for your service and for listening to us. I have a handout for you that you should have in front of you that's several pages. East Central is located between South Temple and 9th South and University and 7th East. We are a place that we've invested a tremendous amount of resources for transit, etc. We're walkable. We have a lot of people that live there that are workforce in this city. We have identified that, or we feel that we would like to ask your help to maintain and protect what we're calling our Green Loop, which is the 12 East Islands. These were established in 1913, and they're historic in our area. On the second page, we have the highest density in the city per square mile still. It will change as downtown grows, but right now we still have the highest density, and this little map shows how far we are from green spaces. On the third page, you see the major disrepair that we're seeing on 12 East, and the cost to the city annually to replant trees, come back and fix the sprinkler system, and force parking is pretty dramatic. So we put together a 10-year plan because we knew that the city is strapped for funds, and we created kind of a master plan. That's what you see on page 4. On page 5, we knew that this would need to be phased, so we put things into various categories and had it spaced out. Repair of these islands, this is actually my 4th application, CIP application in the last 12 years, and we'll just keep coming. These are some of the design elements that we had, and then if you look at the very last page, you see that when we realized that we were not funded in the year's budget.
Next will be Matthew Morris, followed by Kelly Kupel, and then Adrian Edenfield. Matthew's here in person.
Hello, council members. My name is Matthew Morris. I'm a resident of the Glendale neighborhood of Salt Lake City, and I'm here tonight to speak in support of my constituent capital improvement project proposal, which I submitted to the city last fall. This is the topic of the evening. The project was called Glendale Traffic Calming. It's centered on implementing vertical traffic calming speed bumps on 8th West in the Glendale neighborhood and addressing several safety concerns at other intersections around the neighborhood. I live on 8th West and know firsthand that speeding cars are a grave concern, not only because of ongoing noise pollution, but also property damage from parked cars being struck by speeding vehicles, as well as animal deaths, and not to mention the feeling that the car traffic is largely out of control. I hope that both the council and the mayor's office can find the money to support my project. The proposal was ranked the 2nd constituent proposal by the city's Transportation Advisory Board and the number 3 proposal by the city's Bicycle Advisory Board out of 19 submitted constituent proposals. I'm frustrated to share with you all that despite these high rankings, the CDCIP board chose not to recommend the project for funding. This stands to me in stark contrast to the pleas that I heard from my own neighbors as I gathered signatures to support the proposal. They often yanked the clipboard from my hand to sign in support of this project. These constituents are not all here tonight, but I hope that you will listen to my request in their stead and find the funding to support this project. I had the chance to discuss this issue in the past with you, Councilman Lee, and last week with you, Councilman Dugan, and I hope you all will find a way to support this project. And thank you for your time this evening.
And next will be Kelby Kuku, followed by Avery Edenfield, and then Kimberly Young. Kelby is here in person.
Good evening, Council. My name is Kelby Kuku. I'm a resident of the Glendale neighborhood, and I'm here to ask for your support of the same CIP proposal for traffic calming in Glendale that my friend Matthew just spoke to. I also live on 800 West. I can confirm that this area is in great need of traffic calming measures to address speeding. We are on Y Street. We're connecting 9th South and 13th South, so we're mostly residential. So it's quite a busy area. We have a lot of families, we have a lot of pets, we have a lot of school-age children who are walking to and from bus stops. We're also right by the 9 line, and we're right by Jordan Park and the International Peace Gardens. So I think, given all of those factors, slowing traffic on this street in particular is an investment in the safety and well-being of this area, which makes a lot of sense when you consider how the city might facilitate more walkability as well as safer access to transit and green spaces. I also think that this can help realize solutions and even directly address some of the challenges that our neighborhood faces related to public health, air quality, and social vulnerability. I can attest from many conversations that I've had with my neighbors that there is great interest in traffic calming and a real need for a greater sense of safety. I think this proposal is also responsive to the city and mayor's commitment to livable streets, which we've seen come through in recent budget discussions, which I'm really excited about. So I hope that you will support funding for this project. Thank you for your time.
Next will be Avery Edenfield, followed by Kimball Young, and then Tina Hernandez. Avery's here in person.
Hi, good evening. I'm Avery Edenfield. I'm here on behalf of my family. I wanted to make a picture. My wife is 8.5 months pregnant, and my 3-year-old son couldn't be here. I'm here to advocate for the pedestrian safety in Hawk at Richmond Street and Zenith Avenue. CIP application which was included in the mayor's budget. We've lived at Richmond and Zenith near Brickyard for about 4 years, and we're one of the many families that live in the neighborhood and walk our kids to the daycare there. The pedestrian yield signs are often barely visible. The lights are quite short, and many times my family and our neighbors have had scary encounters with drivers not stopping for pedestrians at that crosswalk. So there is a lot of pedestrian traffic now that Mill Creek Commons is going up, Brickyard is growing, the 213 bus stop is right there. Several schools are also accessible via the bus and the crosswalk. The speed limit is 30. It is mostly residential, but traffic cops have been there sporadically and gotten as many as 20 tickets a day for the speeders. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. So just a couple weeks ago, another daycare parent who I think is supposed to be speaking tonight was crossing Richmond, and her driver rear-ended another car in front of her that had stopped for her and her child, her baby. Another driver raced southbound and rear-ended a stopped bus recently. We've had cars go through our fence. We've seen cars take down a street light. These are the type of accidents that happen over and over. A kid recently jumped out of the wagon and the daycare people were chasing him down the street. Words that are often used are scary, nightmare, dangerous to cross Richmond there. The Transportation Division confirmed a hawk signal is the next tier of pedestrian safety, and I appreciate your support for that.
Next will be Kimball Young, followed by Tina Hernandez, and then John Westy. Kimball is here in person.
Hi, I'm Kim Young, chairman of the Foothill Sunnyside Community Council, here representing residents of that area. And here to point out that the health the well-being of our city is reflected in the condition of our streets. And here to implore you on behalf of all of us in that area to devote more of our limited resources, our budgetary resources, to improving our roads, starting from the worst first. Ideally, we have, I sent in separately, emailed part of the map that shows the condition of roads in the city, just focusing on our area, and you'll see the majority there in fair to poor condition. And I know this is a citywide issue and challenge. And speaking for the whole city, please put more money into improving our roads because they do reflect the condition of our city. Thanks.
Next will be Tina Hernandez, followed by John Westy. Tina is yours.
Hi, I'm Tina Hernandez, a little nervous. I'm in District 7, similar to Avery, I'm speaking on the hawk signal at the intersection of Zenith and Richmond Avenue. I'm asking you to please approve funding to install the hawk signal there. I live on Zenith Avenue with my husband and my 1-year-old daughter who attends daycare right on the corner of this intersection. I use this crosswalk at least 4 times a day to bring my daughter to and from daycare. And I'm terrified every single time. I'm very sorry. Cars come flying down this street around a blind corner, often driving more than 40 to 50 miles per hour, which is at least 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. There is a small crosswalk sign there that flashes yellow when a pedestrian presses the button, but there are 2 big problems with this crosswalk sign. The sign is too short. It can't be seen by the 2nd or 3rd car back, so if the first car in the line does slow down, often the following cars don't slow down. Instead, they try to change lanes quickly and pass the car that's stopping. The flashing yellow lights can't be seen if the sun is out, and they don't flash nearly long enough for a pedestrian to safely cross the street here, especially if kids are trying to cross. 2 weeks ago, I was crossing this intersection with my 1-year-old daughter after picking her up from daycare. I pressed the button, I waited until I was certain the first car saw me, slowed down to stop. I grabbed my red flag, I waved it in the air, and began to cross the intersection. Unfortunately, the 2nd car back did not notice the car in front, slowing down, didn't see me, didn't see the flashing yellow crosswalk sign, slammed into the back of the car that did stop for me. Both cars spun out of the intersection, heading for me, my daughter and I in the stroller, running the other way, barely missing this interaction. I filed a police report, I filed a formal complaint with the city. I no longer feel safe to use this crosswalk by foot. Please, please, it's okay.
Next will be John Westy, who's young first.
Good evening. John Westy from 1904 South Texas Street, not so far from UDA. As you have heard this evening, our roads are hammered, right? And I know you know that. And I like the comment that the road conditions are a certain reflection of the quality of the city. I've been to Hanoi and Nairobi, and there are sections of Salt Lake City that are worse than anything that I've seen there. I'm speaking in support of the Texas Street CIP, of course. They're not as bad as Nairobi, but it's a really tired street. It has a quality index of 18, which is toast. I've been appointed by my neighbors humorously as the mayor of Texas Street because I'm the guy that keeps calling your street crew. And it's, the guy said, well, it's like lipstick on a pig. It's just fatigued asphalt. It really needs to be replaced. Right now, we're ranked number 4 of 28 unfunded constituents requests, and I really appreciate that consideration. Do whatever you can to try to fund this program and ones like it. It's really essential. my dad will roll over in his grave, and my new friends will hate me, but raise taxes if you have to. Okay, the roads need to be done. Please consider Texas Street and CSP. Thank you.
That was the final registered commenter for these items.
Thank you. Thank you all those that shared your comment today. I will need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the council close the public hearing and refer items G1 to G15 to a future date before action.
I have a motion by Councilmember Luna and a second by Councilmember Wharton. Any discussion? Councilmember Young.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone who came out tonight to be able to speak, especially on behalf of the capital improvement efforts and the projects that you've submitted. I think that this is one of my favorite programs in the entire city budget because it's a place where we create opportunities for our neighbors and our residents to advocate with solutions. And as an elected official, clearly we hear from individuals when they're like, something's gone wrong, but it is so powerful to see our residents coming forward with solutions and saying, this is what would make our city and my community safer. I also appreciate how many of you have also looked at it through the lens of how do we scale or phase an approach? Because you're right, there's a lot of competing priorities, and you help us as a council be able to see what's possible when you break it down in terms of what a first phase, second phase, and third phase could look like. So thank you to those of you who looked at those aspects as part of your project. I really also want to give a shout out to everyone who took the opportunity to engage their coalition of neighbors. I'm very familiar with the efforts for the Hawk Watch over on Zenith and Richmond, and that is truly something that is not a request from a single family. We're talking multiple neighbors across the street. I think you can see it in the Elko plan as well in terms of what was shared. So thank you for engaging others around you to really create that solution. For those of you who are looking at it through a lens of what is possible and trying to figure out how that aligns with the city priorities, I'm very grateful for that piece as well. I know that's something that our CDCIP board also looks at. And finally, I just want to say that every single year, as a former teacher, I really look at this through the lens of we want everyone to succeed. Like, we want it to be possible, and unfortunately our resources make that difficult for us to be able to say yes to every single project every single year. So having been a council member who has noted that several of these projects are back for a second, third, sometimes even fourth time in proposal, I hope that you all understand and, like I said, are resilient in the fact that just because it may not be your year this year doesn't mean that you shouldn't come back in terms of continuing to iterate and improve upon your proposal. And that's one of the things that's most important about this. So thank you for the opportunity to just share that feedback. I'm very grateful for your time and advocacy here tonight, and we look forward to discussing this with the other council members as we move the process forward.
Thanks. Appreciate those comments, Councilmember. I just wanted to say, for those of you that came to comment, when we adopt our budget in the next week or so, we're adopting the amount that's going into the CIP project. There will be a separate process later in the summer where we actually approve which projects. So make sure that you stay tuned, because the thing that we're doing this month does not adopt project A, B, C, and D as proposed by the mayor. That happens later. We're just adopting the amount that will go into the overall CIP project budget.
That clarification, Councilmember Mono. I was going to raise my hand and share that same sentiment. I also wanted to add, we will have an additional public hearing for that more specific consideration of the CIP process. That'll happen in July. So look for the council's July formal meetings, and then also typically the council, or actually by state law, the council has to adopt the CIP budget by the end of August. So that's the sort of time frame we're looking at.
So thank you. I have a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries unanimously. I am moving on through the agenda. Now we're going to item H, which is there's no potential items. Other than comments to the mayor from the city council. Are there any comments for the mayor? Or the representative? Okay, I don't think so. Thank you so much for the mayor's staff to be here. Thank you. We're now on the general comment section of our agenda. This is the public comment. This is for the public to share their thoughts on any city business. There's no schedule for even items that are not scheduled for a public hearing. This section is limited to a maximum of 1 hour, and only those individuals who register to speak before 7:30 p.m. May be able to do so. Our meeting rules apply to the general comments as well. Please avoid disruptions or threats, and we will ask any staff members to assist you out of the meeting.
Here
Also,
we
as a
go.
reminder, comments that include profanity, personal attacks, intimidation, or discriminatory language are not persuasive or compelling to this council. They are not helpful to create a respectful and safe environment. To sign up for to comment on any of these hearing items, please register online or turn in a comment card to a staff member. We accept registrations until 7:30, so 5 minutes ago. We're calling the names in the same order that were registered. If you're on Zoom, please unmute yourself when your name is called. Each person has 2 minutes. And I feel like I have read this already. I hope that this is fresh in our minds. Make sure that please avoid interruptions. And when there is a 2-minute mark, the council staff will tell you time, and that will be the end of your moment. So, Taylor, can you begin with our first general comment person?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have about 5 people registered to speak. The first will be Frederick Jenny, followed by Stephen Otterstrom, and then Chanel Hill. Frederick is here in person.
Good evening. Wanted to first say how great it is to see the press conference at the Rio Grande Depot announcing the $2 million received from the EPA to clean up the area of contaminants and the fix the groundwater in that district. Secondly, I'd like to take the opportunity to gently remind the council of a few things regarding policy within that area. I would hope the council members remember what was said in the Granary specific plan adopted by this body in 1998. Allow me to read a quote from that document. Section 1.3, quote, reserve adequate right-of-way on 500 West that allows for a future underground transit corridor. This statement alone shows the city should be moving toward the citizen proposed Rio Grande plan. Additionally, this is further codified in the council member policy manual, which states under section F, transportation on page 92, that quote, future regional commuter rail alignments along should be preserved for enhanced regional commuter rail operations. So in a way, what I'm asking the council to do is to do what the body has been saying they're going to do since 1998, and that's bury the rails along 500 West. Thank you.
And next will be Stephen Otterstrom, followed by Chanel Hill, and then Eduardo Guzman. Stephen's here in person.
Last week, I had the tremendous opportunity to stand out with many of you and watch you raise the Hawaiian flag of the city council. It made me proud. It showed that people belong here in Salt Lake City. It wasn't just a message that was local, but it went further. It went out to the state. I was very proud of that. It's not the only time something good like that has happened. In fact, in 2018, there was a tax, a 0.5% income tax that was passed, funding for our future is what we called it, and it benefited affordable housing, transit, street repairs, public safety. But attitudes changed. There's been a new 0.5% sales tax, one that every one of you signed off on. A new tax that does not benefit affordable housing, it doesn't benefit transit, it doesn't benefit street repair or public safety. It benefits one individual, one billionaire, Ryan Smith. We've listened to so many people come up here and beg for things. Simple things like, I want to take my child across the street and not be hit by a car. And we don't have the funds for it. We have the funds for Ryan Smith. We have the funds for Ryan Smith. Well, I have a very good authority. He's actually housed now, so you can all breathe easily. He has a place to live. He has good transit. He can get his way around. We need to belong in the budget as much as we belong on the flag. Thank you.
Next will be Janelle Hill, followed by Eduardo Guzman, and then Vidal Miranda. Janelle is the young person.
Good evening, council members. My name is Janelle Hill. I'm the founder and senior officer of Stand Against Fear and Exploitation, a 501c4 nonprofit based here in Utah. SAFE is dedicated to creating stronger legal protections for our communities, especially children, survivors, and those the most vulnerable to harm. I'm here tonight to endorse a legislative initiative that SAFE has developed and to respectfully request your support. Not financial, but moral and civic. We are asking for a formal letter of support for the council in favor of a Sex Offender Registry Violation Accountability Act, a reform that has already gained the sponsorship of a current Utah House representative. The proposed legislation aims to do two essential things. Strengthen penalties for registered sex offenders who violate the terms of the register or supervision or reclassifying those violations from misdemeanors to felonies. When they knowingly enter the parks of our children's, the daycares of our child, or the schools. Reduce recidivism in our state by including the trauma-informed reintegration support, including a 1-year transitional halfway housing program to assist eligible offenders, especially those who were victims of themselves before they were offenders. We're not asking for funding. What we are asking for is support on paper. There's over 8,000 sex offenders in Salt Lake County and 3,582 are in your city. That is one offender for every 55 residents. The current penalty is a misdemeanor, and we want to thank you guys for standing up, and you guys are more than welcome to email us. Thank you.
Next will be Eduardo Guzman, followed by Vidal Miranda. Eduardo's your person.
Good afternoon, council members. I represent the Carpenters Union Local 01. My name is Eduardo Guzman. I'm here with a group of young carpenters that are interested in learning about politics and also making a positive impact for our organization. We have worked hard completing our apprenticeships and have developed the construction knowledge and skills necessary to complete our task. Unfortunately, labor practices have led to some of our members being left without work in this city, despite the fact that we are fully qualified and ready to work. As the next generation of workers, we are prepared to make the challenge and the walk ahead. And we are eager to prove our value and shape the future of the construction industry in this state. We ask that the council take our carpenters serious into consideration when coming up to next city projects, especially where tax dollars are being spent. Our families depend on good jobs, wages, and benefits. Thank you for your consideration. I really appreciate it.
Next is Vidal Miranda, who is here in person.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Vidal Miranda. I am a union member. I've been a carpenter for over 10 years. I am a husband, I am a father, I am a son and brother. All this labor, just cut to the chase, please hear our voices. I speak for over 1,000 members in our local, and this affects us in the tax day with all the labor brokers that pay cash, because it has been affecting us where we lose our work and our certifications and stuff like that. And how this affects us, if the cash pay affects us also. While a lot of labor brokers, subcontractors pay cash. So they pay a lot less money than what we get paid, and that affects us a lot with the benefits and all that stuff that we have. So they build a lot of schools, they build a lot of libraries, they build a capital. That's a lot of money that we pay our taxes to. That should be built to the union, 100%. Should be built to American. These jobs need to be, so I stand here so you can hear us out, because this is a real enormous problem for us in many different ways. And as a former carpenter instructor, this also affects a lot of young students that are wanting to do a trade, and how are they going to be able to excel in a company with a lot of competition like that. So I ask that you can help, for you guys to help us, so we can work together, so we can stop this. Thank you.
That was our final registered commenter.
Thank you all those that came to share your comments to the city council.
Your kids are like,
She just turned 1 last week.
oh, really? Yeah. Oh, we should have done that.
And how old is he? 4? You said 3. Okay, all right.
So, what did you guys do for her first?
Yeah, that was fun.
That's awesome.
So,
Thank you. So guys, I didn't stop it because, like I told you, my fourth wall is up. Because see all of these like little tent things? Guess what? Pride Month. That means we're gonna have a Pride Festival this weekend. And look, they have a lot of porta potties over there, and they're not buckets. They're not buckets. So I have to hike a mile to my car, but the stage is right there. Look at this building, you guys. Look at this building. So gorgeous. Look at this. Look at the intrigue design on this building. It's just crazy. Oh, squirrel. Squirrel. Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom into the squirrel. Hold on. Oh, it's going up the tree. They're everywhere. They're so cute. When I see them, I'm gonna show you. He just went up the tree. Where are you, squirrel? Where did you go, buddy? I hear you. You're gonna fucking drop on my head. See, there's where the stage is. There's where the potties are. The building's just gorgeous. It's just so beautiful. Squirrel. You see a squirrel? They're everywhere. See a squirrel? There it is. Look at it. Look at him. He's so cute. Look at him. Squirrels in Florida look anorexic. Look, he can't see me, so he's seen me. He's seen me. I don't want to scare you, little buddy. Just go into my car. Look at him. He can climb. Oh, no, he's going to go underneath. I'm going to show you his booty thing. Oh, he's going to... Look at him. He's so cute. Oh, he went up the tree. Okay. Oh yeah, we have obese squirrels. Oh look, there he is. He's up the tree. Do you ever play with the squirrels?
What's that?
You got to play with these cute squirrels.
There's so many of them.
You got to play with the squirrels. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to restart and I will be on Crazy Love is Love Audit. Thanks, guys.
They won't stop till the truth's been told.